The United States government is proposing $736 million in cuts to the national park budget, and our national treasures and your trip are the victim. Come hiking with us in our favorite national parks for the Trail Report to discover what's happening to America's parks right now and how you must react. Let's head to Glacier National Park and discuss our main topic today and the one story that connects all of them. And that will affect every park you visit this summer and beyond. Because what the White House just proposed is the kind of thing that sounds like a budget line item, but is actually going to show up on your family's vacation in ways that are very real and very visible. Earlier this month, the White House released its proposed budget for fiscal year 2027. Inside that proposal is a $736 million cut to National Park Service operations. That's 25% of their entire operating budget gone. But here's where it gets interesting. Because this isn't coming out of nowhere. The National Park Service has already lost 13% of its staff since 2011. Meanwhile, visitation has gone up by 19% in that same period. Last year alone, 323 million people visited America's national parks. That is a record, more visitors than ever, with fewer people than ever to manage them. So what does losing another quarter of the budget actually look like when you show up at a park? Let's be specific, because this is where it gets personal. Ranger stations start running at reduced hours or close entirely. Trails that need maintenance get deferred, and deferred trail maintenance in a park like Shenandoah National Park doesn't just mean a rough path. It means erosion, damaged bridges, and safety hazards. As shown in the beginning, we hiked Rose River Falls Trail, and we're pleased to discover a work crew upgrading the trail for erosion control. Visitor centers that families depend on to plan their trips, some will close. Campground hosts who help you find your site, answer your questions, and keep the campground safe, there'll be fewer of them. And in the backcountry, this is one that really concerns us. First responders for emergency response slows down. When someone gets hurt on a remote trail, when a flash flood warning goes out, when a bear encounter turns dangerous, response time matters. That extra 30 minutes of wait time, because a ranger is covering twice the territory, that can be the difference between a scary story you tell later and something much worse. We hiked Highland Trail at Glacier National Park, and we drove going to the Sun Road. We saw firsthand what it looks like when a high visitation park is already stretching its resources thin. The parking lots were overwhelming, the trails were packed, and the rangers we did see were managing situations that needed 3 people with 1. Before we go deeper, every good national park video needs a dad joke. Ready? What did the park ranger say when the tree kept blocking the trail? You really need to branch out. If you're liking this walk and talk format and you want to stay up to date on what's happening across America's national parks every week, subscribe now. When you search for a national park or a campground we've been to, you'll want our travel guides to show up at the top of your results. Now, while we hike Bright Angel Trail in Grand Canyon National Park, there's another layer to this story that the outdoor media is starting to cover, but hasn't broken through to most park visitors yet. The same budget proposal that's cutting park operations also opens the door to new energy development inside and around national park boundaries. Drilling, mining, and resource extraction in areas that have never seen that kind of activity. But John Garter of the National Parks Conservation Association put out a public statement this month saying, a cut this massive would leave our parks unable to provide basic visitor services and environmental protections. That's coming from the rangers themselves, the people who work there. Grand Canyon National Park has been decimated with the North Rim fire and intermittent fresh water at the South Rim and into the canyon. That makes Bright Angel Trail much more difficult to enjoy and even survive the rim-to-rim hike. If you're spending time at the South Rim of the Grand Canyon or have a Bright Angel Trail hike planned, especially rim-to-rim, check current water availability before you go. Running out of water in that canyon is not a situation you want to improvise your way out of. But what do the people who support these cuts say? The argument is straightforward. The federal government needs to reduce spending. Some National Park Service functions can be handled more efficiently, and parks can fill gaps through private partnerships and nonprofit funding. And we respect that there are real debates to have about how the government spends money. But here's what we want you to focus on as a family planning trips to America's national parks. These effects are not all in the future. The DOGE workforce reductions from earlier this year are already in effect. Some parks have already lost maintenance crews. Some visitor centers are already running reduced hours. What the fiscal year 2027 budget proposes is what comes next on top of what's already happened. So here are 3 practical things you can do right now. First, plan your summer park trip for 2026, this year before conditions deteriorate further. If Yellowstone, Yosemite, or the Smoky Mountains has been on your list, this is genuinely a good year to go. Second, and this one is simple, get an America the Beautiful Pass if you don't already have one. It's $80 for the year. It covers entrance fees at every national park, and a portion of that revenue goes directly back into the park operations. In fact, Spending money on the national parks will offset some of the budget cuts. The National Park Pass is one of the best deals in all of outdoor recreation, and it directly funds the parks your family loves. Third, if this matters to you, continue your education by watching this channel and doing more research before you decide to contact your congressional representatives. The fiscal year 2027 budget still has to pass Congress, but this is one of those issues where public opinion matters, and do your homework to participate in the conversation. Let's hike Shenandoah National Park and catch up on 3 things that happened across our national parks in the last 7 days. Let's get started with a bang. Did you know Kīlauea erupts again at Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park? If visiting Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park is on your bucket list, this is your sign to pay attention. Kīlauea just wrapped up its 45th episode of lava fountaining inside the crater. The USGS confirms all lava flows stayed within the crater, but volcanic haze, what scientists call VOG, has been affecting air quality across the Big Island. If you have young kids or anyone in your family with asthma or breathing concerns, you need to check current air quality conditions before you book. That said, witnessing an active eruption from a safe viewing area inside a national park is genuinely one of the most spectacular things you can do in America's national parks. Years ago, I did it through a helicopter tour. Check the link in our description for current park conditions before your trip. Now for a cooler water-surrounded story. Did you know Isle Royale National Park sees major wolf and moose population shifts? Over at Isle Royale National Park in Lake Superior, researchers just released their annual survey, and the numbers are striking. Both moose and wolf populations saw dramatic swings this year, with the wolf population growing and the moose population declining. Isle Royale, located above Michigan's Upper Peninsula, is one of the most isolated parks in the country. You can only get there by ferry or seaplane, and it's home to the longest continuously running predator-prey study in the world. This is one park I can't wait to visit because wolves keep the moose population in check, which keeps the forest vegetation healthy. When that balance shifts, the whole ecosystem feels it. There is no visitor impact to the least visited national park right now, but it's a reminder of how much science is quietly happening in our national parks that never makes the headlines. Now that we've cooled off a bit, let's head back into the heat. Did you know a 54-acre wildfire hits Green Mountain National Forest in Vermont? The fire broke out this week near Middlebury and Ripton in Vermont's Green Mountain National Forest. North Branch Road was temporarily closed but reopened after crews got it under control. Wildfire season is starting earlier this year, and our national forests and parks are bearing the brunt of it. If you have any spring trips planned to parks in New England or the Northeast, check recreation.gov for current road and trail closures before you load up the RV. It takes 2 minutes and can save your whole trip. Later, we're going to dig into something a lot of families ask us about, but nobody explains honestly. How the timed entry and reservation systems work at the most popular national parks, which new parks are rolling them out for the summer of 2026, which are abandoning them, and the specific strategies we've learned to actually get the permits before they disappear in under 5 minutes. If you've ever planned a trip to a national park and discovered the vehicle permits were completely sold out before you even woke up, that video is specifically for you and your family. Don't miss it. We spent time at Glacier National Park last summer and came home with 6 brutal truths about visiting that we wish someone had told us first. To learn more, watch this video next. But if you're still here and know someone who would like this video, please share it with a friend and like this video to spread it to others.